Welcome to the Magma Classroom. This particular classroom series focuses on the basics of digital painting, starting with the fundamentals of value, shapes, light, and color. We've done a good few apples and spheres already in previous lessons, tried our hands at some more interesting still life studies, broken down simple landscapes, and even run a gauntlet of timed exercises to speed up the learning process. This weekly hangout is intended for the determined beginner, and we'll take our time to explore each subject and learn together. I'm your host Ryan, the resident painter and caffeinated Wookiee at Magma, and while I grab a tea refill here, you can find all the instructions for joining me on the canvas in the description below. Ready your drawing tablet, we'll be getting started shortly. Hey everybody, welcome to the Magma Classroom. I'm just adjusting all my things here. Oh, jeez. Okay, so today we continue our journey studying various objects, and this was another suggestion from Eyebrow to do these cool helmet studies. Last time we looked at kintsugi objects, which had sort of gold seams in ceramics. So it gave us a nice opportunity to play with different materials. And now we're going to play more with that key material, which I suppose is goldish, bronzish. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the material, probably mostly gold of some sort. Sorry. First things first, if you want to join and grab one of these canvases down below, you can find all this, the information, all the instructions in the stream description. You can come along. Doesn't matter whether you're total beginner, that's fine. I'll guide you through a little bit of my own process. And yeah, you can take a crack at the reference material for today. You will have to join the Magma Artspace, the Classroom Artspace first. I get that wrong every time. I always say Magma Artspace. You'll have to join that first, then you can follow the link to the canvas. I've enabled Blaze for everyone who participates today, so you'll be able to use our new brushes as well, which you can find down on the right-hand side. Some nice texture brushes, which are going to come in handy with doing the metal. Well, not necessary, but it makes things a little more fun. I have a little sip of water here, already wolfed down my lunch before the stream. Shall we get a little tune going? I'm gonna need headphones because I don't want to hear the music on my end. Put it nice and soft. Okay, so what else? Anything else I need to address? Before we dive in, our next 2 months of classroom sessions have been scheduled. We have a really nice and exciting schedule of classroom sessions, and those are going to be in partnership with Wacom. So you should get our newsletter later today, which will explain a bit more about that. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do here is just assess what I'm looking at. Okay, we've obviously got a very shiny material, very reflective. So the light that's coming off of it is making quite a strong highlight. Okay, so we can see over there especially. can on the right layer. Here as well, these highlights tend to be quite sharp. Okay? As much as we do have over here, because of the roundness in particular, we do have this light sort of blowing out over here and gradually going over, but generally it's why does this brush feel so weird? I just haven't made it bright enough. I think that's the issue. But here you can see more of those like nice sharp highlights on the turn of the form here as well. And to start off, we've got a very basic shape to work with. You know, we've got this ball on top of quite a simple sort of shape that we'll work with. And we can just block things in that simple structure first before getting into the exact form that we have. If you want to, just for placing things, getting things in an orderly way, and just build up those shapes that way, and then render more detail. Or you can dive in straight away with painting, just blocking in bits of color. Now, one other thing I want to point out here that makes a subject like this quite fun is all this interesting texture. This is great stuff. All this variation of color. We've got a really nice warm brown, which then desaturates, coming to the light especially, but lots of variation in color. Here it's even a bit. What would this be? Is this a bit more? Yeah, it is quite warm, but it's kind of cool at the same time. Here, this section that kind of looks green, like a green-blue color. And hey, Nexus, I see you joining us there. Welcome. So when we zoom out, we squint our eyes, this area here, it looks kind of green. So you can exaggerate that if you want to by adding like a much stronger green in. Or what you'll notice, you know, we have, if you look at the color wheel, like where we're sitting in terms of value and color, kind of in the mid ranges. And as we move down into that shadow bit, it desaturates quite a lot. It obviously gets darker, but it desaturates, and that's part of why it looks so cool next to the warm colors. When you shift into the grays next to a strong warm color, it appears much cooler, and vice versa. So yeah, something to keep in mind. All those little things to look out for. So let's get started. I'll try not to talk too much, as I often do. Let me know if my audio is all good. I'll bring this a little closer, perhaps. I might get an interruption in a little bit. We were expecting some people to come and do some repairs. So yeah. Anyway, so the first thing I want to do here is block in a background. It's pretty much black, except for this bit behind. I don't want it to be completely black. This is kind of blue-gray, perhaps. So I'm gonna go find that. Hey Xian, Kiku, welcome to the canvas. Feel free to grab one of the canvases down in the sequence below. We've got quite a few there. So yeah, first thing I'm gonna do is just use my pixel pencil because it's easy peasy thing to use. Kind of like it. Let's turn off the density pressure. I want it to be full opacity. Now it's quite light at the moment, but I just want to block in shapes. Okay, I am at max over here. Just making sure. My screen feels small today somehow. I don't know what that's about. And I just want to like roughly get in some variation in the background. It obviously gets much darker in parts. Now having a dark background does make sketching things out a little more challenging. But it depends how you want to approach things. You can always drop the opacity of that, put in a sketch, and then fill in. It just depends on your process. There's different ways we can tackle these things. But I just want to have a bit of a background in your first, quite dark on this side. Okay, this is an unnecessary thing to spend too much time on. But I just want a little variation. Maybe a little bit over there. I know it doesn't show that in the reference, but I want it. It's practically black. I don't like going full black. right away. You can rather use the strong black or lighter areas to make things stand out a little later on. Okay, so that was a salty lunch. So now, if I want to do kind of gold like this, I'm going to take you just through a quick approach with material like this. So first, I'm going to do a sphere study. Usually, I do this when I get into a painting, or sometimes at the beginning, but often it comes a little later on in the process. I'm struggling to kind of get things right, get the material looking right, and then I just have to do a sphere study. So what I like to do then is I'll do this on a separate layer, grab my circle selection tool, holding shift, drag out a nice sphere, and find a color, or find a brush, then a color, and this sort of goldish, this kind of metal tends to be kind of warm to start. Let's see, let's go with this. I'm going to fill that whole thing in. Our light source appears to be coming from the sort of upper left, not too far left. Actually, I think there's multiple sources. I think there's one sort of up here and another one off to the side here. But now I want to get some variation. We've obviously got some warm colors in there, so I want to drop in a bit of that. You see I'm using my brush really big. Actually, I want to get, let's see, what is our actual lighting doing? It seems there's a cool light above, but I feel like there's a warm light as well coming from the side. Let's just stick with a warm light coming in from the top left for the purposes of our sphere study here. So if there's a warm light, I think our shadow is going to appear a bit cooler. Oh, that's a bit big. I just want to block in bits. Cooler on this end. Let's make my brush smaller. It feels a bit too big. I'm just keeping this at like a full sort of opacity. There's also okay, we've got that warm light, so maybe shifting up, gaining a little bit of saturation, lightening up. But let's shift into the yellows here, because it looks like we've got some yellow. I just want to get variation in here, and I will smooth this out with the same brush, lowering the density, but I'll do that later. Let's get a little bit of this down the side. So this is like the metal's weathered a little differently, or it's two different types of metal. I can't remember the other one I'm thinking of. So I'm seeing comments on YouTube. The colors keep changing on the stream, like from greenish brown. That's weird, Art of Sane. That's very strange. On my end it looks fine. It might be just on your side. I don't know. If anyone else is seeing that, let me know. Now I mentioned there was a bit of this sort of green, this bluish green, so I'm going to shift a little bit cooler, but mostly in the grays. And just add in a little bit of that in parts. I actually want to bring out a little bit more green in there. Make it a bit smaller. So we've got some stuff to mix in. And now I can go with, let's even get a bit more orange in here, I think. Some really nice bits. Looks like there's a little lag in the video of the browser. That's not good. That's not good. So my connection behaves all fine until it comes time to stream. I'm going to add in a little bit more light over here for that highlight. Now we can kind of start smoothing in. It's so weird. Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Let's see if, let me have a look at my settings here. Is there anything funny going on in my settings? Maybe if I disable the graphics acceleration, things will behave a little differently. So let's do a little reload. Although this, in theory, it won't make much difference. It's maybe just because my connection's weird. Anyway, so now I've lost my selection here, which is fine. What I'm going to do is lock the opacity of that layer over here. So now, even still when I paint, hey eyebrow, welcome. There should still be plenty of canvases. Yep. Now, even though I can join this layer, but it doesn't go outside. That's because I locked that layer. And now I can go with my brush and put the density set to pressure. Make it quite big, and now I can kind of blend things over more easily. And we get like a smoother gradation of color. I could even bring a bit more of this desaturated yellow in, I think. Something kind of like this. So you've got some of those bits. There's quite a range of colors. This orange is probably going to be more towards the terminator line over here. There's this change to the darks. And because it's a metal, yeah, it's a bit weathered and all that, but it's going to be fairly smooth. This doesn't make too much sense where it is because of where the light's coming from. So maybe I can come down over here. Just wanted to get a little bit of it in. You can really spend a lot of time doing this. I mean, I could spend the entire classroom session just doing a really smooth, rendered out sphere study. But that's not what we want to do. But just something to spend time with. It helps a lot to figure out your material to just do studies like this. Obviously, there's a lot of light in there. But this is something you can spend time on, but I want to get onto our actual reference. So I'm going to smaller. So what happens if you spend the time getting that material right, that sphere right, you can just color pick from that as you move into your main subject. So I'm going to jump straight into painting. We've got quite a few people here. I don't recognize that icon. But welcome everybody, welcome. Now we've got 40 minutes left of the stream because I just talk so much and do unnecessary things. But as much as we only do this for an hour, you are welcome to spend as much time here as you like. Okay, so the first thing, obviously we had this ball that's way too strong. But I just want to get the basic shapes in. My brush, it's a little too textured, it's a little all over the place for now. So I'm going to adjust the spread down and bring the spacing down, and that'll make everything just a little tighter. So I'm going to slowly build up the shape. I could sketch it out first, but because what we can do, if we just get a nice silhouette here, so we can do exactly the same thing we did with that sphere just now, is we can lock the opacity and with a big brush just start adding in blotches of color and light as we see it when we squint our eyes at the reference material. Just come over a bit more, I think. This isn't quite right. I normally don't like to erase, but because I'm doing the silhouette, it's maybe better here. And then we've got the shape comes out and around. So it bulges a little bit. Bulges in here. Obviously got the square thing. There's all these little bits sticking out slightly. This comes down under. Just trying to get in little variations in the silhouette. And I think that'll do for now. Now, like I did before, locking the opacity of that layer. Oh, good stuff. Thanks, Art of Sane. I'm still keeping the same brush, just using my chalky 1 brush. And I'm going to squint my eyes, looking at my reference material, and I'm going to try and just put down the slight changes of color that I see. So up top over here, definitely warmer, this warmer bronzy copper sort of color. So I'm going to go a little bit more into the orange, make my brush nice and big. Put that in, probably a bit darker in parts. More saturation. There's a bit towards the back over here too. And we've got some down here, some over here. We've got that desaturated sort of greeny blue. I want to accentuate that a bit. That's a bit excessive, I would say. But that's fine. We're going to mix things in. And what have we got here? We've got this sort of desaturated yellow. No, it's not too desaturated. Let's have a look. We can use our eyedropper just to gauge a little bit where things sit on our value and hue scale. Yeah, but we don't want to color pick from the reference. Yeah, always avoid that. That's a bit too bright. Getting a bit dark over here. It's still kind of dark on there too, up top. And we've got this shape here. We've got this over here. I can just do a full circle. Yeah, I don't know, this, I'm actually pretty sure it's my internet connection is very temperamental. I expected much more of it, but I just haven't had a chance to go and sign up with a new provider because it's a bit ridiculous that I'm having this struggle as frequently as I am. So then we've got this circle over here. This should actually bulge out a little bit more, but I can fix that silhouette later. Nope, let's go a bit more orange. Down here, if we use our color picker and just see what's happening, still sort of mid saturation, but obviously really dark value. So I'm going to find my way down there. Go warmer. I'm just kind of roughly get in the editing. This is a bit redder down here. And then in here, obviously, it's kind of like a blue-black. And in here too. I suppose the problem with having not sketched is that my placement of things is a little off. Just a little off. And here we got it's much lighter. A bit more yellow. What is this color here? Yeah, sort of peachy. Let's go into the orange. Put that over here too. And up here, it's maybe a little bit more yellowish, doing that same kind of thing. Quite a messy start. Quite a messy start. So we know we had that light coming from there. We've got some of that light hitting over there. We've got some of it hitting here. Here as well, we can go a bit brighter. A bit more than that, I think. A bit more bold. And we've also got it right here. That's not quite right there. Something like this. Shift it to the yellows. But slowly building and finding things. Can be rare. It can be quite ugly to start. In this case, it's not. It's very chaotic. Very chaotic indeed. I know what I'm doing wrong. I've made my brush too small and I've forgotten about everything I'm meant to be doing. Let's go a bit bigger. So got this light. Whoa. Desaturation in here. We've got something like this in here too. What is this doing to the browns? Interesting. Okay. Have we got enough canvases for everybody? We haven't noticed if anyone new has joined. Just checking. Ah, plenty. What are you chuckling at there, Eyebrow? Oh dear. Let's have a quick look. Whoa, we're going at it with the lasso. Fun times. Fun times. A lasso full is a really fun tool to use. Put that in here. It's a bit bluish here. We've got a bit of light in here. That's a bit more yellow. This section over here. Get my opacity and density down a little bit so I can blend a little nicer. Get those variations to blend into one another. Got a bit of light on this here. This should actually be bigger over there. I'm starting to see some mistakes. Not a big deal. And remember, I have to remind myself of this all the time. The idea is not to have perfect drawings. We're here to go through the thinking processes, finding our way towards the reference. Get colors wrong, get placement wrong, it's okay. It all happens. Right, let's keep that locked for now, actually. I add a little bit more warmth in here. Sometimes you just have a bad day as well, and then you come onto the stream, you're like, cool. Now I can paint. And then you realize how bad it looks. And then you hear with other people, and oh man, it just looks terrible. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Ryan. Your drawing will be fine. So it's not the most efficient way that I've taken to this, that's for sure. And we have a bit of here. So, I mean, it'd be a bit too much to put black in all the way like this, but just to build things up. Over. There we go. Yeah, maybe I should have sketched things out first, but that's also the point of this, to then like go through the process, try and approach, and take a moment to step back and be like, no, you made a bit of a mess of that. Maybe you should try a different approach next time. That's why I like to keep the study sessions short, because then you're forced to take those moments a little sooner. Darken this. So much green. Yeah, there's a lot of greens in here. A lot of cool grays. That's what makes it so much fun. That's why I think these sphere studies, one can really spend a lot of time. You can spend a lot of time on them, and should. And going into all the subtle changes. A little bit lighter here. And this is definitely one of those materials where you want to kind of, before getting into the highlights, is figure out some of the colors that are around the highlight, because it accentuates quite a bit more, it tells you a bit more about the light. So if you can, so with here, you might want to get a bit of that yellow. Oh, it kind of does weird things. It's so interestingly weathered. Waiting for server response. That's annoying. Of course, you could. I mean, you've got some nice circular things going on in here. You could use circle selections and circular shapes a bit to get those right. here it's quite a bit darker, I think. On that tip. But there's so much color in here, so many different things. It's like with clouds, you can lose yourself in those forms. With some metals like this that have been weathered, you can really lose yourself in the shift in colors. Struggling with anxiety? Paint some metal. Paint clouds or metal. Meditation. Oh, but I haven't put in the light in here yet, so I did that bit a bit too soon. Alright. And depending on how determined you are to get the more realistic look, you could even, you got this black underneath, but it's still, these little wires are casting a bit of a shadow. It's way too soon for me to be spending time on that kind of detail, but knowing that's the kind of stuff you can get into. Okay, this side darker. This light kind of blows out quite a bit here. There we go, I think. Let's not forget some of our oranges that exist in these parts. This is what, with using a larger brush, you start to get that. A larger textural brush, start to get those little effects that make the blending more interesting, but it adds a sort of weathering to it as well. Oh, have you? Okay. I wasn't sure when you shared them. I was going to start with the steel helmet first, but I figured you would want to tackle this one in particular. This could be bigger, actually. More of that orange underneath here. We've got this green down here. Bit of it up here as well, definitely a bit in there. Yeah, so an hour definitely isn't enough for me on this particular reference image study. So I missed that comment. In the middle of pouring metal? Are you doing bronze casting or something? Yeah, we need to change the music, I think. So part of what the problem is my silhouette, I think. Okay, pewter, nice. Okay. I suppose that's also a more less hectic metal to be dealing with. Bronze casting also costs a heck of a lot. Jeez. More intense process. Okay, I'm going to unlock the opacity now so I can start fixing up this silhouette because I've definitely screwed it up. This has to come up a bit. Hello? There we go. And this overall should be higher. I think I've made this too low. Yeah, challenging choice of reference. I feel like drawing Jupiter instead. Probably get some, maybe with these brushes, get some nice texture for achieving that, actually. Got a lot of this green in here. I'm actually going to turn off this music. It's the way it sounds playing back at me. I've mentioned this before in past streams, but it sounds like a stretched cassette tape, and it happens when my connection is pretty bad. So let's leave that off. You're stuck with my voice. You're stuck with it. Here in silence. Ooh, I used to joke that was the one voice I want to impersonate successfully. The one accent I want to get right. I don't know why, but I want to. Maybe there's some of my heritage in there. In that accent. It does have such a cool voice. Noodland. I can't believe we have 15 minutes left of the stream, and I feel like this is kind of where I should have been 20 minutes into the stream. There's all this detail I want to get into, and it's just not going to be possible. Not at all. So Eyebrow, and any others, have you had a look at our schedule of Clubhouse events? Your perception of time has been decimated. So many things. Jam-packed. We're going to be doing more metal studies well, more studies in general, obviously, but more metal studies for those periods. And I'm really excited about July, as I've mentioned. About August, sorry. I'm confused with which months we're currently in. Because we're going all out fantasy. We're going to create a bit of a world together. World of Dragons. A world of dragons. More details on that a little later in the month. But we're going to be drawing props. We're going to be drawing environments, buildings, structures, but landscape, character. What if that's dragons or owls? Hey, why not? Why not? Dragons with these big owl heads, reptile owls. Yeah, could be a thing. It could be a thing. Up here, what is going on up here? Reptile. Yep. We're going to do a reptile study as well. That's for sure. We'll do our first one the end of July. Let's try and get some reptile skin going. And then apply that. This is the idea. We're going to, the stuff that we do in the classroom, the studies we do for classroom, we're going to apply into some of our clubhouse themed streams. So even the classroom stuff will be part of that. Come on. Fit as part of the theme in some or other way. So reptile studies, but in that week we draw dragons in the clubhouse. It can still be stylized. It doesn't matter. I forgot to put the banner up on the pop-up banner for other people to join. Oh, I forgot about that. Let's come in a little bit over here, I think. Fix that silhouette. It's better to be zoomed out quite a bit. Let's get a bit of yellow in here. I don't have sufficient yellow there. Here. Should also be a bit more yellow. Here. Before it goes into that green. It's really just dabbing my brush lightly with this pressure density setting. Now I've got to get these other little things over here. How is it already 10:02? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, a bit of hue jitter. That's a great point. I should have mentioned that actually. That makes a world of difference. I do still kind of like initially when for those who are more sort of in the early stages and learning to not use it just because it takes out a little bit of the thinking. See, Rapid didn't realize we're on live stream. You're on candid camera. So maybe what I should do, because what happens is often, you can see that the canvas is live. Maybe I need to add in just a tiny little banner at the bottom for anyone who happens to join and doesn't realize that we're busy streaming, just with all the details, so they can find the stream and they can listen along. Look, Ma. I'm live on YouTube, Mom. I made it. I made it. Gonna be famous on YouTube. Hey, growing a YouTube channel is some hard business, man. And I need to get a bit of light there as well. Cool. So we're getting somewhere. It's still a bit of a chaotic mess, and I'm quite zoomed out, which currently makes me nervous. Because if I zoom in, I'm going to realize what horrors I've put down in terms of my strokes. The algorithm is a cruel and festering creature indeed. Yeah, there's the algorithm, but it's really just all the stuff that's out there competing for our attention. It's just so much. I noticed it in my own YouTube feed. Why have I made this so small? That the moment I start indulging in a little bit of news, then it all goes downhill. Then suddenly I'm seeing a lot less art, way more commentary on the latest dumb thing someone has said, and it takes quite a bit of active what did you say, kind of like rearranging and actively telling the algorithm, give me back my art stuff. So you have to go watch more art things, engage with more art things, just to get it all back into your regular feed. Yeah, the echo chamber is very quickly sets in. Drives me nuts because then I end up like just getting so bleak. Okay, turn it off. Dun, 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 dun. Ugh, this really looks a bit rubbish. Ryan. You did a bit of a rubbish job here. But it's all right. It's all right. I got higher value yellow over here. But more. It's a bit desaturated, a bit greenish. So I haven't made a decision yet about what we're painting in the clubhouse this week. Last time I said maybe modern witches was a theme to go with, because character design references their monthly challenge. That's their theme, modern witches. Fun. I have no idea what I would paint for that. Our first one for July. Our first one for July is musical orcs. I've been wanting to do this one for a long time. And I'm very excited for it. Very excited. I don't know. Did any of you guys see in Warcraft 3, the ending credits when you finish the game? The big old concert that happens with characters from all over Azeroth and Kalimdor. The orcs jamming, Arthas with Frostmourne. It's good fun. It's good fun. Once again, holding up something delicious. We also have that theme on the schedule. It is there. I just can't remember which week it is. I think it's the second or third week of July, where we do something delicious. Delicious food. That's it. Yeah, it's there. I had an idea for what we could do with that. I'm waiting for a particular tool to get finished on Magma first. But anyway, I was thinking it'd be cool to set it up in a way where all the food that we're drawing is part of a menu. Like we've got a menu template, and then we're just adding the food items to the menu. Animal, vegetable, minerals. Yeah. That makes me think, what? I don't know anything about a text tool. What's that? I think it's in beta. It's in beta. It's coming along. When it'll be released, I don't know. It's a tricky feature to add in. Lots of fun little programming challenges for the dev team. I mean, I say fun. I don't know, maybe for them it's not so much. Got constant headaches. Oh, geez. Can you imagine? I've seen some people making artworks with old typewriters and just like smashing their keyboard and layering letters over and over to build up an image. Quite something. So we've pretty much reached the end of stream time. I want to keep going for a little while because this is not a result that I'm pleased with. I know that's not the point. I always say that. I reiterate it. I stand by it. But I do want to just work it a little bit more. It's really dark back here. I could have been better about my shapes in the beginning. I think that's been my downfall here. And sketch things out because there are just so many shapes to get placed correctly. It's one of those things you do kind of need to get the placement right. Otherwise it looks a little funny. It's going to look a little funny. Hearthrelax. So on Mondays, generally we do a earlier stream just for our friends in different time zones. where eyebrow in particular is one of them, where our regular time for other streams is just not, it's not ideal. But fortunately for some, unfortunately for others, for July and August we have to run our streams at the normal American sort of midday time or brunch time. So we will be doing all of our classroom sessions, these ones with me. Udi's ones will be at a different time, but all my sessions will be at 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time, and the clubhouse as well will stay at that same time. But the streams with Udi every couple of weeks on character design, those will be at 10 a.m. Central Daylight. Just going to be for these months through our partnership with Wacom. Our focus there is on the American audience, and so yeah. But everything is, you can always watch it later. You can always catch the stream after the fact. For the clubhouse thing, I'm still thinking that maybe what we'll do is set up a sort of unofficial gathering time where those who couldn't join the live stream can still can kind of know that, okay, well, at this time on Friday, people are going to gather again to go work on the clubhouse canvases, just so that we encourage people to come back and play around on the canvas, add a bit more. But it's kind of boring to do on your own, right? So if we set like a non-stream gathering time, we can all come back and push some more pixels together. So my thinking for that was sort of this time on a Friday. And then we'll just chat it up on the Canvas chat. Imagine a buff mushroom. Oops, that little screen flicker there. Yeah, no worries about not joining the canvas now. That's all right. We were supposed to end the stream 3 minutes ago, but I just want to paint a little more. Just a little more. Just a little more. I still have lunch that I need to finish. Sure, a little bit hungry. How do I, this dark shape in here, if I want to make that defined a bit better, let's go a bit lighter on this side, shift towards the yellows, get that edge nice and crisp. I mean, from a distance, it doesn't look so bad. But, I mean, here the lighting's not right. It needs to follow the form a bit better. It gets a little dark in there. Like this. Yeah. So here, well, looks like you guys are doing pretty well over here. Let's go take a little look. Whoa, nice one, Nexus. Going in with full opacity strokes, looking really good. Very nice. Like you're getting that color on that. What is this kind of? There's another metal I'm thinking of, and I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't get it out. It's not copper, and it's not gold. It's something in between, almost. Balls. But anyway, but that sort of peachy orange looks great. Xian Kiku. Let's have a look. As soon as my canvas loads, whoa, it's taking long. Hey, there we go. Very, very nice. I see like an interesting sort of fish face there that looks, maybe that's intentional, maybe it's not, but it looks pretty cool. I like it. There's a cuteness to it, interestingly enough. How bronze? Maybe it's bronze. I feel like there's something else that I'm thinking of. Very nice, rapid. Going for it. Got some highlights on those bits across the visor thing. This bubble. Very cool. Come on, canvas, load up. Nice, got a bit of greens in the background there too. That really helps actually to bring out some of this other green that you've got in the gold. Looking good, looking good. And that's the gang. That's what we've done today. Very nice. Now, having seen that, I realize I don't have a strong enough contrast in my image in a number of places. And suddenly if I switch to my grayscale mode here, I can see that I definitely need to address that. Just to define some areas a bit better. And up here, let's actually get in some of that green in here. Follow eyebrows. Work there. Why is it not coming down? There we go. Go a little lighter, spread out. Oh, I see the stream screen is flickering quite a bit. Let's come back here. There we go. It's bugging me. What is this metal that I'm thinking of? Yeah, maybe it's just bronze that I'm thinking of. Because I'm trying to think, what were these suits actually made out of? What I think, were they bronze? They weren't copper, were they? I actually don't know a lot about this object. Shiankiku, eyebrows coloring is always so scrumptious. Indeed, I agree. I always like the bold color choices. Going with that saturation, nice and textured always. Good stuff. Lock it. Okay, so where are we at? It's 10 past. I suppose I have to end it at some, whoops. I have to end it at some point. You think it's just your monitor? I'm gonna have to look for a laptop that has some really good color range, decent contrast. I'm hoping that I can acquire something new early next year, or possibly even later this year. Get a new device that won't give such trouble during the streams as this one has been doing. Remind me again what tablet you were using? Ooh, that will be quite something. I find working with the iPad Pro on here is really nice. The colors are much better, obviously. Sometimes I use it as a pen display with my laptop, and it works pretty well. But the only reason I don't do it for the streams is because I do want my cursor to be visible, and I do not have the latest iPad Pro. So I don't have that lovely pencil hover feature. Ah, yes, the Canvas 20. It's nice to see that brands are coming out with really solid resolution screens now. This could be a little bit more brown in here. Get a little bit of that green in. So much variation. But this porthole thing here on the side is really bugging me. I've really messed it up. Why is it behaving like this? Pick the right color, sir. There we go. I think I need to change my cursor. I've got this annoying red cursor. Righty-ho. Okay, I think I'm going to call it there. Simply because I have to get on with some other tasks. And I really would like to spend more time on this one. But on Thursday, we'll be back with another helmet study. This time it'll be, I suppose, a stainless steel type of thing, nice and shiny and chrome-like. That should be quite fun. Sort of knight's helm sort of thing. And then Wednesday, of course, we have the clubhouse theme to be confirmed. But if you want to stay, keep drawing, you are most welcome. So that you know, for July and August, because we're teaming up with Wacom for those 2 months. Anyone that does come through to the canvases and spends at least half an hour active painting with us, you'll get 7 days free blaze so that you can keep working with the new brushes and enjoy all that. And that can be redeemed once per month. So you can only have that twice for that 2-month period. But yeah, just a little something to entice you to come join us on the canvas. Yeah, hopefully it's a offering. Just having fun with me on the canvas was not enough. Now you get free brushes. Can blaze stack on blaze. If only. I wonder, it was like a stretch goal, a super blaze. What would it be? It's actually not kind of an interesting idea. Plasma. Having some fun materials. Yeah, you got to force them to join. Drag them kicking and screaming if we must. Oh, waiting for server response. Not a good sign. This is still a bit darker up here. Yeah, but it helps us have something cool to show for the next stream, you know? Because we want to show off the canvas each time at the start of each new Clubhouse session. Show what we did in the previous week. So to level that up a little bit, got to get more people on there. Okay. Down here a little bit, maybe. Put a light on here. Light on there. Shift this towards yellow, I think. A little lighter. Because it's reflecting a little bit of that helmet down onto it. Oh, so many things. So many things. And oh, nice. So it's happening. It's going down. It's going down. Do you have a bit of freedom for how long it takes, or do they have a deadline for you on that mural? 24 meters. That's awesome. So cool, man. I'm glad you're getting to do that. Mural painting is just such fun. You said you were doing it with some friends. Oh, cool. Okay. You're doing just the fun stuff. Okay, let's see. Darn it, I've got to go. I've got to go. Darn it, Ryan, you've got to go. I got to go. Just 5 more minutes. You said that 5 minutes ago. Okay, well, I hope you guys found this at least as challenging as I did. This was good fun, but I must bounce like Blaze. I don't know if anyone's watched Burning Love. I think that was the reference. Anyway, cool. I will see you guys again, hopefully pretty soon. Maybe we'll see you in the clubhouse. Maybe we'll see you in our next classroom. Feel free to keep drawing. I'm going to keep Blaze active for probably another hour or so. So if you guys want to keep at it and still have access to your brushes, then feel free. Just a highlight over there quickly. And with that, I bid you farewell, a fond farewell.